Hello, everyone, and welcome to our final program of holiday baking from my home to yours. So today we are making buttery shortbread. I'm very excited because we are now getting ready for Santa, so it's important that we bake for him. So the recipe we are making is actually the recipe that is on those old cornstarch boxes. So I've tweaked it a little bit. Of course, in the Mariah way, I've tweaked it, but it is delicious. We have tested them. I have a couple here ready to go. We are going to get started. So the things you're going to need for this are flour, powdered sugar, cornstarch, butter, and you can choose to use vanilla extract. You can do almond flavoring, or you can do absolutely nothing at all. We just add a little bit of vanilla for a little bit of extra flavor. So to start, you are going to need 3/4 of a cup of butter. So again, in true Mariah style, I am adapting it, and I am actually going to be using goat butter. Just a word to the wise, it's very expensive. So if you don't need to use goat butter, don't use it. But I want to make these so that my family can eat them, and we can't have cow dairy, so I'm using goat butter, but I would typically use regular butter. You could potentially use like a vegan margarine. It's just not going to have the same buttery feature that you're looking for because it's an oil-based product. So if you're going to make these, I would make them true to form, but feel free to adjust if you want. So you're going to start with 3/4 of a cup of butter. So I have mine cut here. So I am just going to pop mine in the bowl. You could use a food like a KitchenAid or something like that. I'm just going to use a regular bowl, as not everyone has one of those. I do, but I also think it would make a lot of noise for you. So we're going to start with that. I have butter all over my hands, so I'm just going to rinse them off. All right, so once you have the butter in the bowl, you are going to mix in 1/2 cup of cornstarch. So this is a really, really simple recipe, and I'm going to show you a couple ways that you can tweak them and make them your own. So I have the biggest container of cornstarch you can find. So you're going to add 1/2 cup. Put that in a bowl. All done with that. Okay, next up, you're going to add 1 cup of flour. The other nice thing about this recipe is it's so easy to double. Because the ingredients are so basic and they're so easy, it's easy to add and double it. So you want a full cup of flour. Perfect. And put that aside. Then you are going to take powdered sugar, and you need a 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. A trick with powdered sugar. If you don't have powdered sugar at home, but you just have regular sugar, use like a food processor or a blender or a NutriBullet, and you can just pulse it until it gets to be that kind of a texture. So if you don't have powdered sugar at home, no problem. Just grind up as much regular granulated sugar as you possibly can. So 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. All right. That goes into the bowl. And then for mine, I'm going to use vanilla. I would say use about a teaspoon. I'm just going to use the cap because I don't really like to measure. Again, it's a really bad thing to not like to measure, but I don't. Okay, so once those are in your bowl, you can just mix those up. And that is the dough, but I will teach you some tricks after that. So, let's make spoon. You're good. Okay. So it looks like it's not going to blend together, but if you just keep mushing it around, it does blend because it does seem like there's an awful lot of dry ingredients, but sugar just dissolves. So once you mush it with the butter, it's just going to dissolve right in there. So just mix that around until it's all together. So with this recipe, there are a couple different things you can do. You can put it in a Ziploc bag, pop it in the fridge for 30 minutes to an hour, and then roll it out and cookie cut it. You could put it in a bag, put it in the fridge, chill it, roll it into a log, and slice it into circles. You can also just take it right from the bowl and teaspoon it onto a cookie sheet. And the last one that you could do is you can just take it from the bowl, roll it into little balls, and then if you have one of those patterned stencils, like one of those push kind of cutters, you can just push right down on the ball with a stencil and make them into pretty stencils. Or your thumb. Thumbs are also nice. These traditionally you would put like a maraschino cherry or some kind of topping on them. I don't have any in my house because I really don't like them. Unfortunately, I did just find out my fiance does like them. So I just like to disappoint people today. That's a new goal. But he did enjoy them how they were. So I made a batch earlier and I put half of the batter in the fridge and I used the other half and I just rolled them into balls and did a thumbprint. And we tested them. And the good news is the goat butter works. It works just as well as regular butter. So that is perfect. You will notice when you're mixing this, it doesn't necessarily seem like doughy enough to just roll out. But the second you put it in the fridge for a little bit of time, it comes into the perfect consistency. So I will show you that once I'm done mixing. I just want to get this all mixed up before I show you. So this is done. So my dough is done. So what I'll do with this dough is I'm going to show you how I do the thumbprints. So I'm going to grab a tray. And we'll get going. So I'm just going to take a little ball. I'm going to roll it. Just look like that. I'll pop it on the tray. And I'll do a whole bunch of those. And then I'll just use my thumb and push them down. But I will show you what they look like when they're done. So to bake these, super, super easy. 300-degree oven. And you're going to cook them for 15 to 20 minutes. But make sure you check them. With your own oven, everyone's oven is different. So just because my oven takes a certain amount of time does not mean yours will. So I would check them at about 10 minutes. What you're looking for, and I'll show you. You want them to just look and have the tiniest bit of gold around the edge. So you'll see it on the edge of the cookie there. The bottom will be nice and golden, but the rest will just be a beautiful white color. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to keep rolling these into balls, and then I will show you how we can make them cookie cutters. I'll show you that one too. So with these cookies, it's fun. So you can cut them into any shape you want. So the shapes I have today are Christmas tree. I have some holly. And I also have a little teddy bear. With these, because you don't want to cook them too long, you don't want anything that is going to be too large. So those are kind of the perfect size. Okay, so I have my balls, and all you're going to do is take your thumb, push down in the middle, and then they're done. So they'll have a little thumbprint in it, and you can just pop that on the tray. So you can do it right here. This is a perfect activity for kids. So if you're making cookies with kids, you can either teach them how to roll them into balls, kind of like they do with Play-Doh, or you can just have them do the thumbprint. So I have some of those. I'm going to put those to the side. And I'm going to take my chilled batter out of the fridge, and I'll just roll a few up for you. If you're cooking these right away, make sure you turn the oven to 300 degrees. All right, cookie dough. I've got my cookie dough. It's in a nice firm ball. In my household, we always just did them in the little balls with the thumbprints. We had lots of other cookies that had shape to them, like our gingerbread boys, or gingerbread girls, or gingerbread people, dinosaurs. I especially like dinosaurs. All right, so I'm gonna roll this out. And then I will just cut the cookie for you. You can add a little extra flour if you find it's just too soft. So let's see. These will be perfect on a plate to drop off at someone's house. We did a cookie and treat drop off today. We can't see a lot of my family because COVID. So we did a drop off today just because the weather is not looking so great. So, oh, I think these are just a little bit too sticky, but I have a Christmas tree and I can put that on my tray. But I think I'm going to stick for these ones. I'm just going to do the thumbprints. I like them better that way. But let's see, will you share a written recipe at the end? Oh, okay. So, Diane, I can write it in the comments so that later on you guys can see it. And you're going to make them at 300 degrees. But it's a super simple recipe. So it's going to be 3/4 of a cup of butter. I used goat butter, but you can use any type of butter you would like. You're going to use 1/2 cup of cornstarch, 1 cup of flour, 1/2 cup of powdered sugar, and about a teaspoon of vanilla or almond extract, or if there's another flavor you like, you can use that too. But I will for sure write it in the comments afterwards so anyone can follow along. Thank you. Okay, so I showed you what they came out of the oven looking like, but I'll just show you again. For anyone who's just joining us, I have some nice cookies here. They have a golden bottom, a thumbprint top, and before you cook them, if you wanted to either put some green or red sugar on them, or like a little garnished cherry or anything like that, you can do that and that makes them look even prettier. You can also ice them. So there is a divide of who likes ice cookies and who doesn't. If you go to those grocery stores and they have those like green and white frosted cookies, I always want to eat them. What we do for frosting, I do a really simple frosting. So all you're going to need is butter or margarine, powdered sugar, milk, and vanilla. So you're going to do, again, I'm really terrible. I don't measure, but I can write it in the comments. You do about 1/2 cup of margarine or butter. You want it to be soft. And then you add probably 3 to 4 cups of powdered sugar. Then you can add a teaspoon of vanilla and you'll start mixing that. And you just add milk as you go until it's the texture you want it. You can add coloring of any kind and you can have flavoring of any kind. We use this for vanilla frosting, chocolate frosting, lemon frosting, any type of frosting. It is just our go-to super simple frosting. And it tastes delicious, especially with a little lemon. It's really nice with a little lemon. So I hope you guys make these at home. Feel free to share them with us on our Instagram, our Twitter, or our Facebook, WPL, Waterloo Public Library. And we still have lots of stuff going on over the holidays, so I encourage you to check that out. Tomorrow we have a Christmas Eve program for any of the kiddos. They can come hang out with me. We're going to live stream that again, so just check out our Facebook page or our YouTube. And at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, we are getting ready for Santa with a Christmas Eve story time. So I wish you all a very wonderful holiday. Merry Christmas. All the best. Stay safe. And I hope to see you at the library soon. Feel free to comment on the Facebook post. If you have any questions, I will respond to them. I check it once in a while, so feel free to check. Thank you guys so much and enjoy your cookies. Bye, guys.